All right. Good afternoon to those of you on the East Coast. A good afternoon also to those of you on the West Coast. I'm co-creator of Movers and Shakers Unlimited, your host, Brandon Choi, and thanks so much for joining us wherever you are watching from. If you were here joining us just a moment ago, not too long ago, a couple hours ago, in fact, we had the director of an upcoming indie thriller known only as Last Night at Terrace Lanes. And we actually have a few other guests on tap for you guys that I, am excited to introduce to you guys. So, without further ado, let me bring them on board. The first person I want to introduce, they've been on the show before. Of course, they are OG night watchmen that have had here on the show. But they've also brought their talents to other films as well. But I want to introduce him here now. Welcome him back to the show, Ken Arnold. Ken, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing great, Brandon. How are you? Thanks for
I'm
having me.
great. Absolutely, absolutely. And then, of course, next up, first timer here on Movers and Shakers Unlimited. They not only have brought their talents in terms of their body of work as a actor on the screen, but also with their talents as a voice actor. And of course, you may recognize their voice as the announcer for the Washington Capitals. It is my pleasure to welcome Wes Johnson. Wes, what's going on, sir?
Great to be here with you, Brandon. It is my first time. Please be gentle with me.
Absolutely. I will do my best. I will do my best. So gentlemen, thank you guys so much for, hopping on here on a Saturday, talking about, this film. Last night, as I said, last night at Terrace Lanes. Just to start, first, I just wanted to, check in, how are things been? Here we are, top of the year. So happy new year, to you guys.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. So, how have things been otherwise? I know Ken has been a minute, but Wes as well.
Well, someone asked me how my year was going so far the other day, and I said, well, so far it's been 6 days. That's how it's been going. So, not so bad. Excited about this movie right at the top of the year, 2024. We've been waiting a while to see it, and it was a wonderful opportunity to get to work with Jamie and to get to work with Ken, whose work I've been enjoying for quite some time, and is, I think, uh, just one of the best actors, not just in this area, but working today. So you've seen him everywhere from film, that, like you said, The Night Watchman. You've seen him on HBO. This is a guy who is literally quite solid, and I think you're going to love what he does in this film. It's a very Bruce Willis-esque kind of performance, and he just brings all the charm and he brings all the action, and he is the action.
There you go. Well, there you go. Well, Ken, I know this already, but I, I'm going to pass it off to you because that's quite the introduction there to
Yes. Well,
what you have on store for us in this film. So, how are you?
well, yes. Thank you, Wes, for that great introduction. And thank you for the hockey tickets last night. That was awesome.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
a
The
win would have
Caps.
been nice. A
Yes.
win would have been nice.
The voice of the Caps, man. When you're in that stadium, in that arena, and Wes's voice is just booming in the speakers, man, it is an experience. And if you haven't experienced it yet, you got to get down to the Capital One Arena and just live that, man, because it's awesome. So, yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
hey, getting a chance to call Alex Ovechkin goals into
Yes,
history. I mean, what's not to like about that?
it's fantastic. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. So get back to the movie. I am super excited for this thing. Like Wes said, we've been waiting a long time for this thing to come out. Got to work with such a great group of people, the cast, the crew, Jamie Nash directing, Eduardo Sanchez producing, Carlo Glorioso producing, the crew out in Frederick at Cinematic Productions. They were fantastic. And just Francesca Capaldi, the star of the film, she's amazing. She used to be in Doll with a Blog on Disney. So it was just a fantastic experience. And I'm just glad finally people are going to get to see this thing.
All right, excellent, excellent. So, just switching gears a bit and just talking about how everything, came together. Let's both, so to speak, and tell me, how you guys got involved. For either one of you, got involved with this project, how that came about.
Go ahead, Wes.
Well, you reached out to me, Ken. I've been wanting to work with Ken forever. We've circled each other with our projects for a long time and never had a
Yeah.
chance to get to do anything. So to get a chance to actually work with Ken in this one was a real treat for me. And on a film that was written by Adam Cesarian and Jamie is directing it. And like you say, with Eduardo Sanchez directing, this is like a dream. I mean, producing, it's like a dream come true. And everybody there was so fun. It was like a family.
Mm-hmm.
You ever, that whole thing like, hey, kids, let's put on a show, except the kids that are put on the show are like the utmost professionals and yet know how to have fun as well. So getting a chance to come in there and be somebody else, be somebody different for just a short period of time with the possibility of your life ending suddenly as it does in films of this nature. You never can tell what's going to happen, but it was just a blast. And I had Ken making me appletini as part of the script. I mean, what's not to like about that? Ken is the appletini master.
Very nice. I love the Easter egg there. I love it. I love
that
it.
is true. That is true. But let's not give away too much of the plot.
I was about to say.
No plot, just appletinis. Appletinis. Tell me what's in an appletini, Ken.
My appletinis, vodka.
Yeah.
Sour pucker, the liqueur, and then the apple liqueur, and then I put a little bit of apple juice in there, mix that thing up. I put fruit in it. I put strawberry. I put a cherry in there, and sit back, relax. Tastes like a Jolly Rancher, an apple Jolly Rancher. And
I know.
enjoy.
It's like the kind of candy that makes you not capable of driving anywhere after.
Exactly. That's why when people come on the show and they're in person on the show, they stay overnight usually. We have a guest room.
Right. Good. The Appletini Lounge.
Exactly. But Brandon, to go back to your question, how did I get involved? Of course, Jamie Nash asked me. I've worked with Jamie many times, and he came to me and he's like, "Hey, Ken, you want to work on this project?" And before he finished the sentence, I was like, "Yes, let's go. Let's just do this thing," because I knew it was going to be fun. It's a Jamie Nash directed project. It wasn't written by him this time, but doesn't matter. Still, I knew that he was going to have a certain Jamie slant to it. And I always enjoy that. He's hilariously funny, and I love that. So what happened is, Jamie was trying to cast this thing pretty quickly, and I think he talked to you about that earlier today.
Yeah.
And he asked me, he goes, "Who do you know that could play a gravelly older barfly, a former professor?" And I was like, and we had just had Wes on the Appletinis, like a couple weeks before, and I was like, Wes. So I threw Wes at me and Jamie right there. Look at that. I don't look so good. I'm doing the double chin thing because I'm doing the selfie.
It was all makeup, man. That was prosthetic.
Yeah, that was all prosthetic. But he asked me who I knew, and I threw Wes's name out there, and Jamie looked him up, and they got in touch with Wes, and next thing you know, Wes is sitting at the bar, on the day of the shoot, and I'm making him appletinis. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. So, with that being said, I feel like that's a perfect segue. Thank you for the tee up, Ken, of going into, the respective, characters with George and with Bruce. So, I guess since you just discussed it just now, let's talk George. What's his deal? What's going on with George Wes?
George is like the guy that you would meet who works at the local college. He's a professor, but he's sort of a community college professor. He's very into himself. He likes to think of himself as an intellectual, but that only goes really so far. He's stapled right there at the bowling alley to the bar. You don't ever really see him so much at the lanes. If there's anything rolling around, it's probably one of the cherries in his glass. But he sits there and he tried. Young ladies come in and young ladies go out. And George takes his shot, tries to show them what his intellect brings as far as him being a man.
All right.
Oh, let's just
Excellent.
say George is a very lonely guy.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. And in similar way, I will punt it over to Bruce. Talk to me about Bruce, Ken.
Well, Bruce is kind of the has been past his prime dad who, hasn't been a great dad. He's been, lax in his dad responsibilities with his daughter. And she's now getting to the age where, yeah, there she is, Francesca. And she's getting to the age now where she's becoming a strong, opinionated woman. And she's out with her friends and she's having a fun night, but she's embarrassed by dad. And dad works at the bowling alley. And, she comes in and she's just like, my dad's here. But she knew I was going to be there, So,
Yeah.
but she winds up at the bowling alley and, she's kind of embarrassed by her dad. And, that's a great shot by William Gray, the on-set photographer. That's one of my favorite pictures ever from a movie set, right?
Well, that was just from the rap party. That got out of control.
Yeah, the rap party was crazy. It was crazy. But yeah, Bruce is down on his luck, a little bit of a sad sack at this point in his life. And he's just trying to reconnect with his daughter and just trying to make things work. So yeah, he knows that she's going to probably be going away to college, and that's going to be the end of their relationship for a while. So
Gotcha. Well, I know you guys were, you had teased it a little bit at the top and talking about working with folks that you've already, had an opportunity to work with, and how that can be, very much advantageous in working on any given project. So can you talk a bit about having that second hand of having folks that you already have that rapport with and working on this project?
For me, it was a chance to get to work with some of these folks for the first time because
Sure.
I'd seen their work. I've seen a lot of them in social situations. We've crossed paths over and over again, and I've admired everything that they've done for years. And getting a chance to come out and play with them for me was just simply a joy. When you get a chance to play in the sandbox of somebody whose sandbox is epic and legendary, you appreciate the time. And to get to do a scene with Ken, the stuff, I really enjoyed it. It went far too quick, and I hope we get a chance to do something again. This is a group of folks who, from what I could see, really knew each other, knew each other's grooves, knew each other's energies. And when you have to put together a project in as short a period of time as they did, because of, you're in a bowling alley that is actually going to disappear for real, you're going to lose your set, that you have to work with some sort of streamlined precision. And knowing each other and being able to work with each other like they have in the past helped make that possible. And so to be able to witness that and be a part of it was a real joy.
Awesome. Ken?
Well, working with, of course, I've worked with Jamie Nash so many times in the past. So essentially, when I got to set, it was, I didn't have to prove myself to Jamie. I didn't have to,
develop that
that relationship, because
right.
he knew what he was getting when he asked me to do this. He knew, and when I got there, and the great thing about Jamie is, and it's his directing style, is he lets the actor play. And that's what he tells me to do. He said, just do Ken things. And then if it's too much, I'll let you know. But go out there, have fun, have a blast. If you want to throw some stuff in there and improvise, go ahead, feel free. But we're going to get it as scripted first. But hey, then we're going to play with it. We're gonna work the scene and just have fun, do Ken things. And that's the great freedom of working with somebody you've worked with in the past, is you can do that. You don't have to worry about it. You know what you can get away with, and you know where you can push the envelope. So,
yeah. And even working with him for the first time, he allowed me to play with George, to feel George out, to get an idea of who he was, and to play with certain things that were not necessarily in the script, but added hopefully a little something to it.
Yeah. The cool thing too was, like Wes had said, I got to work with a lot of people for the first time, especially the young kids on that set.
Mm.
I got to work with Lucas Sanchez. Never worked with him before. My son was in the film. Got to work with my son for the first time on a set as an actor. Francesca Capaldi, but she's a veteran. Right? She's been doing it since she was a little kid, for Disney. So she was great. And just working with them too. I got to work with Tawanda Underdew. I've been working on projects with Tawanda for years. She's been in my films, and we try to get her in as many of my films as we can. Every time there's a character she's one of the first people that comes to mind. Tawanda, she'd be great for this. And just the crew, the people on the crew that I knew already. Right. The first AD, Sam Lukowski. I've worked with him a million times. He used to take acting classes from me. So, that familiarity with people on a set, you can't buy that. You really can't. It's amazing. You get on there and everybody's doing their job and you got good people surrounding you. It's a great feeling, and it allows you to play. It allows you to be free. So
excellent. And to speak further on that, you were I was speaking, with Jamie not too long ago, a couple of hours ago, and
not too long, still fresh.
Yeah, still fresh. He had been commenting on a lot of the things that he was, excited in seeing. I mean, Wes, you touched on one of them. Tease one of them with regarding the Appletini, but if there was something without being too spoilery, if you will, are there components that you're really excited for audience to see with this film? I know, Ken, you were mentioning, a lot of the younger actors that are, in this film, and seeing, what they bring to the table. Perhaps there's some other elements as well for either of you that you guys are, really, excited for audiences to see.
For me, it's seeing Ken at work, because what he brings is this humanity and this gravitas at the same time. There was a weight behind it, but also kind of a vulnerability that I was able to see just in the short period of time we were working together. Watching the man do his stuff up close and personal was revelatory to me. I mean, if you've seen anything that Ken has done, he transforms himself from role to role.
Yes.
But he's also, in everything he does, there's a certain weight and a solidness that you just believe in these characters. You want to root for these characters. And this character, Bruce, that he is playing, has that in spades. And as he talks about the humanity of feeling like he's failed as a father, there's also a nobility in there that, that if he could, he's got regrets, and if he could take this back, if he could make things better, he would. And with everything that may be going on in the midst of chaos and turmoil, there's also a chance of personal redemption. And if there's anybody who can pull that off in all its many different facets, it's Ken Arnold.
There you go, Ken.
I need him as my personal PR person to go with me everywhere I go. Every horror con I do, every film.
Like, no pressure, Ken. Take it away. Teed up. No pressure, but go ahead.
I brought my guy Wes. He's going to tell you all about it.
But you can't drop the ball. You've been teed up.
But the great thing about this film was, and The Night Watchman was very similar to this film as well, is there was a lot of action, and there was a lot of stunts and things that I can do. And I love doing that kind of stuff, the being physical and jumping around and running and fighting and working with the stunt guys. And because they're amazing, they're just amazing the way they set things up and they stage it and they choreograph it, and just making sure that everybody is safe, making sure I'm safe and making sure they're safe, and just the way they stage everything. And just being allowed to do my own stunts is phenomenal, because a lot of actors don't get to do that. And, just having trust in those guys, the stunt people, and them having trust in me to be able to get this done. And we did a lot of that in this film. And I think it looks really cool. I mean, you've seen clips that they posted already online. There was one where we had a little fight scene, and I get beat up pretty good. So
yeah,
it was a lot of fun to do. And but it was very safe, and those guys did an outstanding job with the camera angles and everything.
Awesome, awesome. Now I guess this is along the similar vein. Um, you know, perhaps are you guys able to share? Were there like those certain days? Maybe it may very well been with the stunts, but where there were challenges in terms of trying to. I mean, mind you, by the end of it, it all came together, but it was still something that was quite challenging to be able to pull off. And maybe you aren't able to share because maybe it's just running into spoilery territory with the film, but perhaps not if you are able to share.
Well, the one thing that I'll say that was a challenge with it, and then Jamie spoke about it earlier today,
Yes.
was the time crunch we were under.
Sure. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and that makes things, especially when you get into the stunt stuff, because you got to take your time with that stuff.
Yes.
You know, so if you're taking your time doing the stunts, it takes away from something else you want to do. It takes away from another camera setup. It takes away from more takes in a scene that you want to get.
Yeah.
So at the budget level that we were at and the money that was spent on this film, though, I think they did an outstanding job, even though they were under such a time crunch and to get things done.
Yeah, because I understand it was what 6 weeks from when I
Mhm.
6 weeks total with pre-production and all the stuff and the script
that's
writing
wild.
and all that
That's
they had
wild.
to do.
Yeah.
You know, and Jamie would know more about that than I do, because I was only there for 12 days, but
Wow.
total shoot days were, I think, between 15 and 18, and that's not a lot of time for a feature film.
No, not at all.
And you don't get the luxury of coming back and reshooting a scene if you feel you didn't exactly get it right because the bowling alley's gone.
Yes, yes. So there was that issue. There was
I
that
mean,
issue.
what's in a title? That is a very
Literally.
The last night at Terrace Lanes, you better get this shot because you ain't getting it. You ain't getting it again. No way. No way. But that was another fun thing about working at this bowling alley, Wes, and you saw it. The bar was great. The
yeah,
bowling alley was fantastic. I was sad that they were actually going to
yeah.
tear this place down.
It,
It
it
was
had
so cool.
such a feel. It really did. And I've
Right.
talked to people who've lived in Frederick forever that it is so tied into their lives. They grew up there. They spent time in that bowling alley.
Yep.
In a way, you might be looking at a list of characters or something on this movie and wanting to do an in memoriam, but people who grew up in that area, the in memoriam is going to be about Terrace Lanes. They get
Yeah.
one last look at this beautiful, kitschy, 1950s style, beautiful, frozen in time piece of art. And you're right, it breaks your heart that it's gone.
Yeah. Just back behind. And I had never been behind the lanes,
Ah,
back where all the pins are being
yeah.
reset and the balls are being returned. I had never been back there.
We
It
took
was
that one cast
amazing.
and crew picture back behind there with the
Yeah.
scenes, and it's like this industrial threshing machine back there.
It was amazing, and just to see those machines work and how they sounded, and just it was phenomenal. It was such a great experience, and I spent 12 days there, but it was just a lot of fun just to see how everything's worked. Very sad when it was all said and done. I did meet a lot of new people and a lot of people from Frederick because they worked on the film, and I've become friends with those people over time, and it's been fantastic. The whole experience was phenomenal. It was just great.
All right. Excellent. Excellent, guys. So um I am going to, because I don't want to keep you guys on your Saturday. I'm going to wrap it up there. But
You
before
coming to the premiere, Brandon? You going to be at the premiere?
that is the plan, yes, sir. So you actually must be psychic because I'm going to get right into that right now.
Ah,
So we have, as we know, we have Last Night at Terrace Lanes arriving on January 16th on Apple TV. But just as Wes was mentioning, there is a premiere. And I haven't had a chance to see what the update is in the last few minutes, but we do have the premiere happening. That you can see the link down below for January 14th. I'll also put it in the description. But yeah, like guys, as I said, thank you guys so much
the
for
red carpet, by the way, at a horror movie is especially red.
Yes, it is especially red. It's going to be a great night, Brandon. It starts at 5 o'clock. People are coming in. They're going to be mingling around, talking. So if you happen to come to the red carpet premiere, you get a VIP ticket. Come up and say hi to me and Wes. We would love
Yeah.
for you to come up and say hey, and tell us where you're from and tell us why you're at the movie, and if you have any questions for us, feel free to ask, because that's what we're there for. We're there to have fun. We're there to support independent film, and we're there to support filmmaking in Frederick and in Maryland.
Yes.
So that's the thing.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. But as I always say, before I let any of my guests go, I always want to punt it over to you guys to tell folks where they can find you. So tell you what, Wes, since you haven't been on the show yet, since you are new to the show, I'm going to punt it over to you, and then Ken, you'll close us out. Go ahead,
right.
Wes.
Well, I am on IG at Wes Johnson. If you want to find me, I'm going to call it Twitter, no matter whether the people who own it like it or not. I'm there as Wes Johnson Voice, and you can find me all over the internet, just soiling it and spoiling it.
Awesome. Ken, go for it.
All right. Well, you can find me over on IG at Ken Arnold Actor. So you can follow me there. I also, have other Instagram accounts, Night Watchman, Town Called Purgatory, and a bunch of other stuff. So you can follow that as well.
Burner IG accounts.
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of them. So
you got the link tree that just blooms.
Yes, I do. I have a link tree, so you can click on my link tree.
You want to go on tangents or any sports tangents on the Capitals and the Eagles, right? You have burner accounts.
I do. I got an Eagles account. I got everything, man. I got it all. So just go to my link tree, you'll find it all. But thanks so much for having me, Brandon. I appreciate it. It's always great when I come on here. So thank you so much.
Been a pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely. So there you guys have it. Thank you guys so much for watching this edition of Movers and Shakers Unlimited. I'm co-creator, your host, Brandon Choi. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Be safe out there, and see you guys soon. Bye.
See ya.